everybody, welcome back to Be Sharp Teachers TV. You're in the right place if you're a teacher who wants to teach with authenticity, joy, and loads of success for you and your kids. I'm Wynn, founder of the International Academy of Be Sharp Teachers and your hostess for this week's episode of Be Sharp Teachers TV. This is your Sunday Zap of Wynn. Welcome. Hey, today is the day of the month. As you guys know who've been watching Be Sharp Teachers TV for a while, once a month for the last 6 months, we have been doing a special on the Common Core State Standards, Standards for Mathematical Practice. And as I continue to work around the country with teachers, what I am seeing is that, I'll go in and I'll start talking to teachers about the Common Core Standards for Math, and they all want to talk about the content standards. I'm like, okay, that's great, but you guys cannot ignore the process standards, the standards of math practice. And usually I am met with blank stares because people they don't know about the standards for math practice. So if you're new to Be Sharp Teachers TV or you happen to have missed the series so far, you're in luck because there, down below this video are the links for all of the past videos that we've done in the last 6 months. There are a total of 8 practice standards under the math area of Common Core. Okay, today we're going to talk about Standard of Math Practice number 5, but the reason this is the 6th month we've been doing this is because we did an overview introduction. So if you missed that, it's down below here. You've got the links for it. You can go back and watch that introduction. Then you can watch SMP 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then today, here we go with Standard of Math Practice number 5. And we call those the SMPs. That's the abbreviation for them. Okay. So you guys know that I'm all about your authenticity and your joy, but you feed that, and those are fed by the success that you have in your classroom. And the success that you have in your classroom is fed by being there authentically as the teacher that you are, bringing joy to the classroom. So it's a big old circle of life going on over here. And today our focus is truly on Common Core State Standards, okay? Because I want to get this message out about these standards of math practice. Because like I said, when I'm traveling, I'm getting the deer in the headlights look from people all over the country. It just has not filtered down to teachers yet. So be sure, if you like the video today, to get it out there, social media, like it, tweet it, put it on LinkedIn, whatever. Just share it with your circles. Remember that these videos you can take into school. You can use these in your grade level meetings or in your faculty meetings, staff meetings after school. However you want to use them, you're fine to do that. Every video has 2 downloads. One is like the blank sheet. It has the standard written out on it, and then it has the matching colors where you're supposed to go through and dissect the standard. And then the second one that you have is kind of not an answer key. I don't want to call it that. I want to call it a sheet that has some suggested thought processes on it. Okay, so it's like some of our ideas in how we would internalize and interpret the standard. You can use that to see, are we on the same page with one another? What are we both thinking about? Okay? So what I'm going to do, just like we've done in the other videos, I'm going to take you through the actual standard, and we'll look at how it breaks up, how we're going to break it up, and I'll tell you the places where you want to stop the video in case you are really doing this process work on your own, or if you're taking these videos into your schools to share with other people. We want to give you time to stop, have a discussion, and then come back to the video. So we'll do that just like we've done in all the other ones, okay? All right, folks, so here we go. Standard for Math Practice number 5 is to use appropriate tools strategically. And now, just like in all of these standards of math practice that we've been working on together, remember, this is, can your students use appropriate tools strategically? We expect that you can. Okay, that's a no-brainer right there, that the teachers can. But when you are talking mathematical practices, you're really talking about, can your students do these things? Okay, and these really, when we look at content versus math practices, the content is what it is they need to know. 2 plus 2 is 4. To find the area, you multiply the base times the height, that kind of thing. That's content. What we're talking about in this is, if you were given a situation, how would you solve the problem in this situation? In a messy mathematical context, or in a messy life context, I should say, can you pull the math concepts out of it, work with that messy life situation in a mathematical way and come to an answer or to a resolution of the problem. That's what the math practice standards are really about. Okay? All right, so we're looking at number 5 today. And this one is, I have to have it on my computer today, so sorry if you see that in screen. But number 5, using appropriate tools strategically. Let me read to you. I'm going to start off by reading it. Mathematically proficient students consider the available tools when solving a mathematical problem. Okay? So first off, they're considering tools that they may be able to use. These tools might include pencil and paper, concrete models, a ruler, a protractor, a calculator, a spreadsheet, a computer algebra system, a statistical package, or dynamic geometry software. Okay? We've got that lumped in with the next part I'm going to read to you, but I want you, if you need to stop right now, if you feel like, let's talk right now about what are the appropriate tools at my grade level, this is a good place to stop. Chat with the people who are at your table or think about it yourself. What are the tools that kids use to do mathematics at my grade level? Okay? Okay, glad you're back with me here. The second sentence here says, or not second sentence, but the second piece of this top paragraph says, proficient students are sufficiently familiar with tools appropriate for their grade or course. So the ones you were just thinking of, I'm going to be sufficiently familiar with those tools in order to make decisions about when each of these tools might be helpful, recognizing both the insight to be gained and their limitations. For example, mathematically proficient high school students analyze graphs of functions and solutions generated using a graphing calculator. Now that's a pretty heavy clump right there. So that whole first piece, you thought about what are the tools that are appropriate at my grade level. The second piece there is to think about how do I ensure that students in my class are familiar enough with the tools to make decisions about when to use them, okay? And then their decisions are based on, what the tool can do, like really knowing the tool. So I want you to look at that sentence as well, okay? To think about, and ask yourself and talk with your neighbors about how might I help my students to learn when these tools are actually appropriate to use. What are the limitations of those tools? What problem-solving assistance can be gained by using that tool? Okay, I don't want to give everything away. I'm trying to ask you these questions in a way that you can stop and think about them. How might you provide experiences in your classroom that would enable children to decide what's appropriate, what are its limitations, and what are its gains in using those tools? Okay, so stop the video now if you need to so that you can talk with the people around you about that section. Okay? Welcome back. The next piece of the standard says they, and they being your mathematically proficient students, detect possible errors by strategically using estimation and other mathematical knowledge. I want you to hang on to that word estimation there, it's important. When making mathematical models, they know that technology can enable them to visualize the results of varying assumptions, explore consequences, and compare predictions with data. Okay? That's another really, really meaty piece. Remember, when you're thinking about these standards are K-12 standards, these 8 mathematical practices are the same paragraph for you, kindergarten teacher, as they would be, for Joe, the 12th grade math teacher, okay? But how it comes out at your grade level, at your age level of your children and their developmental levels is going to be very, very different. But I want you to think about, in this standard of math practice, we are expecting children to strategically use estimation and other mathematical knowledge. So, we got that knowledge thing going on, that content going on, but they were purposeful enough to bring estimation, which is a skill or ability, more closely maybe associated with the content piece. They singled it out and named it in this standard of math practice. So I want you to think about that and how do we develop the ability to estimate across the grade levels. Okay? Then I want you to stop the video when you're talking about estimation, and then I want you to also talk about how technology can enable us to visualize the results of varying assumptions, exploring consequences, and comparing predictions with data. What are the ways that the tools your children use at your grade level can help them to do these things? Okay, you may first need to say, what do those things look like at my grade level? So stop the video, talk with your neighbors around you, talk with your colleagues, talk cross grade levels if you need to get an idea of what does that look like at my grade level, and then what does it look like for them to be able to use estimation with that. Okay? Okay. Welcome back again. Here we go. Last piece of this standard of math practice is this. Mathematically proficient students at various grade levels are able to identify relevant external mathematical resources such as digital content located on a website and use them to pose or solve problems. They are able to use technological tools to explore and deepen their understanding of concepts. Now, when you guys start digging into this piece, I really want you to process and think. In this age that we live in with the old Google Meister out there, okay, we're talking about students who are able to identify relevant external mathematical resources. When I am traveling the world, when I'm traveling in our country and I'm meeting with teachers about their math instruction, I've recently heard a lot of teachers fussing about not having, in the program that I work with, not having enough problem solving, which, you know, once you really know and understand the way that the program I work in, the way that it works, you see, oh my gosh, there's problem solving everywhere, okay? But what teachers are looking for is not problem solving. They're looking for word problems. They're looking for Kate had 5 bananas. The monkey stole 2 bananas. How many bananas does Kate have left? But this is not the way that the math practices are talking about working, okay? They're talking about when you come to that messy life situation, do you know enough about the practice of mathematics to find the patterns, relationships, the data inside of that messy situation? Can you find those things and begin to extract them out and use mathematics to help you solve the big problem at hand? And this last part here really speaks to that, because listen to what they say. Mathematically proficient students at various grade levels are able to identify relevant external mathematical resources. That does not mean that they can read and solve the word problem where you gave them everything. It means that they can read and extract what they need and then think about, where could I go? What's another resource for me to use? What's a mathematical resource for me to use so that I can solve the problem that's here? So that means that we're not giving them all the steps and the pieces and all of the resources anymore. Okay, that's a big shift. I want you to really get a hold of that one. Not only that, but they're saying in here for the child to be able to use those resources to pose or solve problems. So not only have I got to solve the one that you came up with as a child, you know, as me, the child, has to solve what you're giving me, teacher, but I need to also know, well, how could I use those external relevant sources to pose my own problem about this? And now we're talking about a whole other level on Bloom's taxonomy, right? Because now I'm the one creating the problem. Okay? Yeah. The standards of math practices are going to cause for a lot of shifts in the way we teach math out there. And to be honest with you, I think they're going to be really good shifts. Okay? You're going to need support. You are so going to need support, and I get that. And that's part of what I do as I'm traveling out there. I talk about authenticity. I'm working with teachers on being more joyful. But the bottom line is we all need success. And so a lot of my work stems from mathematics and the practices of math. So if you need some help, let me know, and I'll be glad to come to your school to talk this stuff through with you and to help you to start to see what you need to see and to learn how to pose these right questions to them. But for today, the last sentence here is that the mathematically proficient students are able to use technological tools to explore and deepen their understanding of concepts. So it's not so much that I need a calculator to add 2 plus 2, but it's how can I use a tool to help me really understand the concept of 2 plus 2. What are the tools I need? If I want to understand the concept of 2 plus 2, then really the calculator is not my best tool. Manipulatives are going to be my best tool. Counters are going to be my best tool in mathematics for that particular situation, okay? Think about those differences. I'm going to leave you with this thought. You can pause the video now if you want to talk and then come back for the parting thoughts. It'll be fine. Okay? Whether you went away or you didn't go away, here's the parting thought. We've got to start spending time in the mathematical practices, okay? Park just recently, one of the consortia that's building the test for our nation to use for Common Core, recently released some 6th, 7th, and 8th grade test item samples, and I was looking through them, and they really are posing problems where children have to be able to think. It is not going to satisfy us anymore to be able to go into a mathematical problem and say, pull out the key words, and just go from there. We're really going to have to teach children to think about what is the situation, what is the context in which they are working. Okay. They also mentioned when Park put out those tests, the test examples, they also mentioned something about which of the practice standards that they would focus on most strongly. And I believe that our standard of today, number 5, is one of those that they will be using as the field testing comes out to really focus on. So, spend some time with math practice number 5. I hope that these videos are serving you well. Remember that your links for all of the videos are below this video, and each one of those videos has the link so that you can get your downloads. So every video has 2 downloads to go with it. One which is the blank for you to use, copy for your teachers. The other one is where they can make their notes. The other one has some of our thought processes on it. So grab this week's downloads, enjoy this week's video, share it with everybody that you know. Let's get the word out. Let's get the dialogue going about these standards of math practice so that our students can really rise to the occasion. I'm excited for our kids. Honestly, I am. And I'm excited for you because I think this is going to really bring a kind of a zest back to your teaching, where you're going to have to really do some thinking yourself and not be dependent upon a curriculum. You're going to have to really bring your own math knowledge to the game again, and I think that's exciting for all of us. Even if math is not your strong suit, it's going to be okay. We can learn these things together. So listen, you guys have a super Sunday. Enjoy the day. I hope your weather's nice where you are, and I will see you back here on Be Sharp Teachers TV next Sunday for another Zap of Wynn. Y'all take care. Bye.